Join Kids Hut family. Stop, Tofu.
But why so? I'm just trying to get my ball out.
But see those red ants. You better be careful.
Thanks, Tia.
Sit. I'll tell you an interesting story. The Fox and the Sick Lion. Once upon a time, there lived a lion in the forest. As the lion was growing old, he was unable to hunt for his food. He thought that without food, he would die of starvation. So the lion thought of a plan. He decided to lie down in the cave and pretend that he is ill. And whosoever will come to meet him will become his prey. Being the king of the jungle, the lion announced he was sick and summoned the animals to come and hear his last will. The lion put his sinful plan to practice and it started working. Poor animals didn't know about his wicked plan and fell into his trap. Many of his well-wishers got killed. One day, a fox came to visit the sick lion. The fox was clever and discovered the trick. He stood on the outside of the cave at a respectful distance and asked,
"How are you, sir?"
I am not feeling well at all. But why don't you come inside to meet me?
"No, thank you, sir. I noticed that there are many prints of feet entering your cave, but I see no trace of any returning. Still, if I come inside, I would be a fool."
And the fox saved his life and informed other animals too. So Tofu, the moral of the story is you should never trust a fake person.
Tia, can I use the new colors you just bought? I need to draw and color a bird for my science assignment. Sure, Tofu. Here you go. Thanks, Tia. Hey, Tofu. I am very hungry. Can I have one of the chocolates you bought at the store? Actually, Tia, I bought them for myself. Can't you wait till dinner? Tofu, you're so selfish. You're like the selfish giant. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. Let me tell you about him and then you can decide. The Selfish Giant. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful garden. It had big trees laden with fruits and many flowers of different colors and fragrances. The grass was so soft that it felt like a cozy bed. Different birds sang melodies in the garden the whole day long. The children of the village loved playing in the garden. They would come there as soon as school got over and would stay till evening. In the far end of the garden was a big castle. People often said that the giant who owned the garden used to live there. But it was empty now. Nobody knew what had happened to the giant, and they thought he would never return. Till one day, the earth shook and there were loud thumping sounds. With each thump, the children were lifted off the ground and back again. Oh no, it is the giant. It cannot be. Why has he returned after all these years? The giant saw all the children in his garden and yelled loudly.
What are these children doing here? This is my garden. Get out! Get out of here!
All the children got scared and ran away. The giant then built a large wall around the garden so that no one could ever enter it. The next day, the giant went to the garden, thinking that he will pluck some fruits and flowers. But the trees were so sad without the children that they shed all their leaves and fruits and lay bare. Even the flowers that had blossomed became so sad that they went back into the ground.
Oh, I feel so sad. I don't feel like dressing up with my leaves today.
Yes, without the children, even I don't want to come out. I wish the giant had never returned. Who will I sing for in this empty garden? I am leaving. As time went by, winters came and passed. When spring came, it was lush green everywhere. The roadsides were filled with colorful flowers and green trees. Everyone wondered how the garden must look too. But with all the sadness present in the garden, spring did not come to it. The garden remained frozen. The only ones happy in the garden were snow and frost. With no spring to melt them, they became the masters of the garden.
I will cover every tree of this garden so that it looks white.
And so it went and covered every tree till all one could see was white.
I am going to invite the north wind to join us here.
The icy cold wind swept over the garden. It knocked the chimney pots off the castle and rattled its roof. Then the naughty wind had another idea.
My friends, let's invite hail over too and claim this garden as ours forever.
Soon hail came down on the garden. All four of them got together and caused havoc. Hail and wind attacked the castle roof every day and took off its slates one by one. One day, while the giant was lying in his bed, he heard beautiful music come in from his bedroom window. He thought perhaps the king's musicians were passing the garden. He looked out of his window and saw that a small bird was sitting on the window ledge and singing.
Has spring finally arrived?
He looked beyond into the garden. The icy wind had stopped blowing. The snow was melting and frost was vanishing. Hail couldn't be seen anywhere. Instead, he saw the most beautiful sight.
The children have broken into the garden.
Some children had found a hole in the wall and had entered the garden from there. They were on every tree and were happily sprawling on the grass. The trees were so happy that they covered themselves with green leaves. The flowers also came out, and the grass was smiling gleefully. Even the birds were chirping new happy tunes.
What I did was terrible. I was selfish. I should have never ever blocked the children out of the garden. I will go and correct my mistake now.
The giant went out and broke the wall down.
From now on, this garden is your playground forever. The children were so happy that they hugged the giant.
From then on, the giant played with the children every day. As time passed, the giant grew very old and tired. He wouldn't go out to play with the children. He would only watch them from his window. One day, he saw a little boy crying. So he went to see him.
What is the matter, little boy?
The boy's hands were bleeding. This made the giant very angry.
Who has hurt you? Tell me his name and I will punish him.
The little boy calmed the giant and said, "Calm down, my friend. These are wounds of love." Then the boy took the giant's hand and took him to the Garden of Paradise with him. After some time, the other children came to where the little boy had been. They found the giant lying on the grass and covered with white flowers. He had died with a loving smile on his face. "I really was being the selfish giant, Tia. I am so sorry." "Yes, you were. I will change that immediately. Here, please have some chocolates, Tia." "Thank you, Tofu. I am happy that you have changed, but it is dinner time already. I will now have the chocolates for dessert."
What is the matter, Tofu?
"I wanted to be the class leader, Tia, but I didn't win the poetry contest last week, and today I accidentally dropped the fish bowl and it broke. My teacher had to put the class fish into plastic bags and take them home." "Oh, yes. I'm sure I won't become the class leader now. I'm sure no one in class likes me now."
I understand why you feel like that, Tofu. But don't lose hope. Even the worst situations can lead to something nice.
"I don't think that can ever happen, Tia."
Well, it happened to the musicians of Bremen.
"Musicians of Bremen? What happened to them?"
Musicians of Bremen. Once upon a time, a man had a donkey. When the donkey grew old and sick, the man decided to kill him and sell his skin. The donkey understood his master's plans and ran away and took the road to Bremen.
I will go to Bremen and become a musician.
On his way, he saw an old dog lying in the grass.
Dog, what are you doing here?
I have become so old. I cannot gather the sheep for my master like I used to, so my master beats me.
Why don't you come with me to Bremen? We will become musicians there.
The dog agreed, and the two new friends continued their journey. In some time, they came upon a cat sitting by the road. Looking like the skies were about to come down on him.
Cat, what's wrong with you? Why do you look so sullen?
It is my mistress. I have grown old and cannot chase the mice like I used to. So she has planned to get rid of me by drowning me in the river.
Oh, that's not nice. I have an idea. The donkey and I are going to Bremen to become musicians. Why don't you join us? You can sing a jolly tune too.
The cat liked the idea very much and made his escape with his two new friends. They had only walked a while when they came upon a cock. He was singing without a stop.
Cock, what is wrong with you? This is not the hour for you to sing.
Well, my mistress is having a big dinner party over, and she has instructed the cook to cook me for a soup. My head will be cut off this evening, so I'm singing till my neck and throat are intact.
Is that it? We all are going to Bremen to become musicians. Why don't you come with us? After all, you already know beats and tunes.
And so the party set forth on their journey to Bremen, which was still very far. As night fell, they felt tired and hungry.
We must find a spot to eat and rest for the night.
Everybody agreed and they decided to look for a place to spend the night. In some time, they came upon a lonely house. Its lights were lit and they could hear the sounds of a gathering from inside. The cat climbed up a tree and peeped in from an open window.
It is a gang of robbers, and they have delicious spread of meats and drinks before them.
I could use a couple of bones with some meat right now.
And I could with something to drink. My throat is parched.
Let us find a way to drive the robbers away.
The four friends huddled together and at last came up with a plan to drive the robbers away. The donkey put his front feet on the ledge of the window and the dog climbed over his back. The cat climbed on the dog and the cock flew on the top of the cat's head. Once they were ready, they all performed their music together. The donkey brayed, the dog barked, the cat mewed, and the cock cock-a-doodled. The music was so loud that the windows of the house shook and threatened to come down upon the robbers. The robbers were scared by these unimaginable sounds and quickly flee from the house. As soon as they were gone, the four musicians took over the dining table and fed themselves full. Once they were done, they switched off the lights and went to sleep.
I will sleep on the straw.
I will sleep by the door.
I will sleep upon the hearth by the warmth of the fireplace.
I will sleep on this beam of the house. Soon they all fell asleep. little away from the house, the robbers watched as the lights of the house went off.
We shouldn't have been scared like this. One of you go back in and tell us what is going on inside the house.
And so one of the men made his way back into the house. The house was so dark and quiet that he went to the kitchen to strike a light. But he mistook the cat's shiny eyes for coal and put a burning match to them. Shocked by the attack, the cat jumped on the robber and scratched his face. This scarred the robber, and he ran towards the back of the door to find a way out of the house. But in the dark, he accidentally stepped on the dog that bit his leg. All the commotion woke the cock, and he came flying down to land on the robber's head and cried, "Cock-a-doodle-doo, cock-a-doodle-doo." Ultimately, the donkey kicked him out of the house with his hind legs. The robber ran to the rest of the gang.
Chief, the house is haunted. An evil witch lives there. She scratched my face. At the door stands a man with a knife. He cut my leg. In the backyard is a monster that hit me with a club. And on the roof sits a judge who screamed, "Bring the knave up, too."
Hearing this, the robbers got on their horses and left the house forever. But everything went so well for the four musicians that they decided to live in that house forever. And never made it to Bremen. So you see, Tofu, even when you think that nothing is working out, all you have to do is keep trying and things will turn around. Thanks, Tia. I always feel so much better after talking to you. You're always welcome, Tofu. Wasn't last night's slumber party fun, Tofu?
Oh, I had a blast. Let's do it again.
I agree, but I noticed that you weren't being very nice to Cousin Rob. You were always with your friend Josh.
Cousin Rob started it.
Started what?
Josh is one of my best friends, and Cousin Rob told me that he didn't like Josh as much as I did.
There's nothing wrong in that, Tofu.
I don't understand. Why not?
Shall I explain it to you with a story?
Yes, I want to hear the story.
A very long time ago, there lived a mighty lion in a jungle. One day, he went to the river to drink water. But his leg got stuck in the thick, slushy mud of the riverbank. No matter how much he tried, his leg wouldn't come out. He called out for help, but alas, there was none. And so he remained stuck in the mud. After a few days, a kind jackal came to the same spot of the river to drink water. He saw the lion stuck in the mud.
Your Majesty, are you all right?
No, Jackal. I am stuck in the mud. I cannot move. I have been here for days now.
Give me a moment, Your Majesty. Let me see what I can do.
The jackal quickly crossed over to the riverside where the lion was stuck. With his paws, he dug out the mud where the lion's leg was caught.
I think your leg should be free now. Please try and come out.
The lion tried to move, but he couldn't. His leg had become stiff after being in the same position for so many days. Seeing this, the jackal made more efforts to free the lion. He pushed him and pulled him till he finally came out of the mud. The lion was very happy to be able to move freely after so many days.
Thank you, kind Jackal. You have saved me.
You are welcome, Your Majesty. Now I must get back home.
Where will you go? Why don't you come and stay with me? You've saved me, and now you are my friend for life.
The jackal accepted the lion's offer and both grew their own families. But they continued to live together and hunt together. Their children would even play together. But the lioness did not like the friendship between the jackal and the lion. And she conveyed the same to the lady jackal.
The lioness told me that the lion does not want us to live here with him and his family.
Hearing this, the jackal was very upset and went to see the lion.
I thought we were friends, but if you did not want my family and me to live here with you, you should have told me so. Instead, you conveyed your message to me through the lioness and the lady jackal?
My friend, I don't know what you are talking about.
We are leaving.
No, my friend, don't leave me and go. I have not done anything of that sort. I want you to stay with me.
The jackal understood what had happened.
I am sorry, friend. I understand your sincerity and love towards me. I think I judged you too quickly. It is not you who wants me gone, but the lioness. I shouldn't live here any longer.
No, you don't have to go. I will speak to the lioness.
No, don't worry about it. My family and I will live in another home. But you and I will still remain friends. It is best for both families.
Though the lion was very sad, he agreed. And so, the jackal made another home for himself and his family. But his friendship with the lion remained. They met every day, went on hunts together, and shared lives good and bad till the end of their lives.
The lioness didn't like the jackal even though the lion and he were best friends. And she knew that the jackal had saved the lion once upon a time.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, Tofu. Sometimes you may like someone very much, but your family may not feel the same way about them.
Oh, I get it now. Let's call Cousin Rob and others for one more slumber party. I promise I will behave better this time.
Isn't that John and his older brother?
Yes, that's them.
Look at that. He is really troubling his brother.
Oh, I think John is in big trouble. I'm sure his brother is going to give him a big scolding.
I don't think so.
Why not? Didn't you see how he was troubling his brother? There is no way he's going to stop unless his brother scolds him.
Don't decide on that till you've heard the story of the wind and the sun. A long time ago, the wind and the sun were just talking when the wind said something strange to the sun.
You do know that I am more powerful than you, don't you?
Don't be arrogant, my friend.
But the wind got offended. I am not being arrogant, I am being truthful. If you don't believe me, let's have a competition right now. The sun did not want to compete with his friend, but the wind left him with no choice.
Reluctantly, he agreed. Okay, my friend. Let's have a competition.
Just then, a young man was walking on the road below them. He was wearing a beautiful scarf and a handsome coat. See that man below? Whoever can get the scarf and the coat off him wins.
Okay, wind. You go ahead first.
And so the wind blew at the man. The man's scarf moved a bit and his coat front flapped a little. I was just beginning. I will show the man some more of my power now. Now the wind blew a little more strongly. The man's scarf and coat front started flapping more in the wind. The wind grew fiercer and blew more wildly at him. The man's scarf almost left him, but he caught it and tied it around his neck properly. The wind blew at the man with all his power and anger, but it only made the man wrap his scarf and coat around him more tightly. He started feeling so cold with the wind blowing at him that he wrapped his arms around his legs and sat down by the road. The wind failed to get his scarf and coat off. I have still not lost. If my power and anger couldn't do the job, you surely won't be able to do it either.
Let us see. I think you have frozen the poor man. Maybe he could use some warmth.
And so the sun gently smiled a bit at the man. Immediately, the man started feeling better. He straightened up and the color returned to his cheeks. He got up and started walking his way again. Is that it? Is that all you will do? Smile at him? The sun ignored his friend and smiled at the man a little bit more. The man became more comfortable and walked his way faster.
Watch what happens now.
Now the sun gave the man an even bigger smile. As the sun's smile grew bigger, the man started feeling warmer and warmer. Finally, he could take it no more and started sweating. He slowly took his scarf off. Oh no! At last, the sun's warmth became so much for the man that he took off his coat and flung it aside. The sun had won the competition. I am sorry. I underestimated the effect of gentleness. I thought only power could make things happen in the world, but I was wrong.
Oh, don't worry, my friend. Why don't you blow at him gently so his sweat can vanish?
The wind did so while the sun continued to smile at him lightly. The man went on his way enjoying a pleasant day.
Wow, Tia, that's a wonderful way to be with people.
Yes, there are better ways of changing things than a show of anger and power.
I'm so glad you are my elder sister, Tia. If ever I do something wrong, I know you will correct me without scolding me.
Well, looks like John also has a great brother. See, he's no longer troubling his brother.
For your favorite rhymes, stories, and more, join Kids Hut family. Subscribe here.